when I was going on my college recruiting trips, I had no idea what I was looking for. I went to successful schools, but I really didn't know questions to ask or what to look for. And it wasn't until I got to my third recruiting trip that I was like dazed and confused the first two. When I got to my third recruiting trip to the University of Arkansas, that I realized what I was looking for, and it was a team environment. I came from a very close-knit high school team with matching bows and friendship pins pinned to our feet, and so, or not our feet, our shoes, probably Asics. But I think that realization that the pressure was off because I now knew what I wanted. And so I guess my advice would be to not fear that you don't know what you're looking for, know what you want, but that you can feel it once you get there would be my greatest advice to anybody.
The biggest thing for me choosing college was similar to what Deena said. It's kind of a feeling. I think I chose to go to Rutgers University. I'm from New Jersey, so that was about a 30-minute drive away. One of the benefits was definitely having mom and dad close enough for Sunday dinners and laundry, but that's not the only reason to pick a college. I knew that I wanted to go to Rutgers because I really connected with the coach. And when I took my recruiting trip there, I felt instantly comfortable with the girls on the team. And that was a feeling that you can't really conjure up. So after college, I actually was a Division I head coach for a couple years. And that was the one thing that I always told the high schoolers that I was recruiting and their parents, was to make sure that even if they didn't choose the school that I was coaching at, that they chose a school that they felt comfortable with 100% all around, because we're all runners, but we all are a lot more than just runners, so you want to find a school that is going to fulfill you for the rest of your life.
I have an interesting story, I guess. I wasn't sure. I took a look around at Colorado, at Arkansas, and Wisconsin were my top three choices. I grew up in Colorado Springs, so Colorado, being close to home, is always really good. But for me, I didn't know much about running. I started running my sophomore year of high school. I was really low mileage. I ran my senior year when I won here, I was running 35 miles a week. And I was babied by my high school coach. I was really, really low mileage, and so it was really important, only because my high school coach was smart enough to be like, where are you going to go, and make sure that you're going to fit into a program and they're going to develop you the right way. The biggest fear was that I was going to go to a really high mileage program and just be thrown into it, coming off such a low mileage career already. And so that was key for me, to go and talk to the coaches and ask them, okay, well, how do you see me progressing as an athlete? Like right now, this is where I'm at. Where do you see me my freshman year, sophomore year, and so on, and how are you going to get me there? So. And beyond that, it was the connection thing, I think, with the coaches. Like, when I chose the University of Colorado, and the first time I met Mark Wetmore and I talked with him, it clicked, and it was I knew just talking to him that it was right for me. And he had a good plan, and I was excited about it. So I think it was kind of think about how you're going to fit into that program and make sure that they know where you're coming from, and kind of have a plan going in before you get there, would be my suggestion.
We had, my brother and I had a visit from Mark Wetmore we went to the University of Colorado. We chose there because, we had a visit from Mark Wetmore one time coming to our house, and I remember my mom looking at us like, you think about going to the University of Colorado with that guy there as your coach? Mark looks, if you ever see a picture of Mark, he looks pretty scary. So we, George and I were like, when we explained to them, we liked the team environment that we felt there going to at our visit there, and we felt comfortable. We felt like we can be brothers, and with all our teammates there, and it was just felt comfortable with the whole team environment, and I think that was ultimately our decision that we decided to go to Colorado. We just felt very comfortable there.
I think just real quick, I think if I was talking to my high school self, what I would say is just take pressure off the decision. Like, you guys are all extremely talented and motivated people, or else you wouldn't be sitting in this room. And there's probably a whole bunch of colleges you guys can be really successful in. So I think if I was talking to myself, I just tell myself, don't stress so much about finding like the one perfect college, because I'll burst your guys' bubble right now. There is no one perfect college. Like, there's good and bad parts, and there's no one perfect fit. But with that said, you guys can be totally successful in like a whole bunch of different schools. So I would take pressure off myself, because I know I like had a really hard time deciding. I didn't decide till like really late into the spring. So I just take pressure off myself that way.
I think one thing, if I could say something, you need to go to a college where you feel like your team is your family, because that is your family. And I grew up in a town of 1,600 people in little rural Minnesota, and we flew to Villanova, which is outside of Philadelphia, and it was 2.5 hours away. And then when I drove there, after I committed, it was 26.5 hours away. I didn't quite realize it was that far. Like, I couldn't just jump in the car and get home that weekend for laundry or for a Sunday lunch. But you know what? When I got there, being from such a small town and taking that leap of really giving my running and my education the opportunity that I wanted to give it, I fell in love with my teammates, and I fell in love with my coaches, and I felt comfortable with them being that far away from mom and dad and my family in my small, tiny community. I felt like if something went wrong, if I did get injured and I couldn't run tomorrow, would I be happy with my family, my team? And that's what brought me there. So, make sure you like what you do with your teammates when you go on your recruiting trips. If you would rather sit in and have pizza at night and watch, a TV show, or if you want to go dancing, or if you want to go do something, just make sure you see what they do with you, and then you know that that's what they're going to do with you when you get there. So enjoy that time, and if you don't really have a lot of fun there, you don't get a good vibe, you're probably not going to have the greatest experience there. So that's home away from home, right? So you want to like it.
But you also want to do pros and cons, and ultimately you want to be happy there, whether it's with running or not running, because you want to get your education, and because you have to move on eventually. So don't wait, I'm going to go because I'm going to be on the team, but you also have to look at the academic aspect of it. And that's why I chose UCLA and sunny California.
That's pretty much what I was going to say. I know we're here for a cross-country race and we keep talking about the coaching aspect of it, but God forbid anything were to happen and you weren't going to be able to run, the next year. You really want to make sure you're in a place, not only your environment on the team is comfortable, but your environment at the entire university would be comfortable, and there would be other options of things that you could do that would keep you just as happy as if you were to have running. And I'm not saying that would happen to you guys, but you need plan B. It's important to have, so you don't feel like you're lost with that one option that you gave yourself.